Greetings, lovely gems. Welcome to the Lightroom forecast for this particular reading, which is for all signs, all individual signs. I thought it was an opportune time between this last full moon in Cancer before the new moon in Capricorn on the, I think it's around the 12th or 13th in the southern hemisphere. An opportune time because we are at the beginning of a new year. This is like the water well reading, a twist on love readings, really, because love comes in many different forms, called by many different, well, a number of different names, different ways, or contexts of which we love in. So today we're looking at these currents. So kind of interesting. And thanks for joining me. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're looking at the currents around us in our lives, and always that, coming back to true basics of this is that self-forgiveness and self-compassion are hugely important, not only for our communities and our families and ourselves, but if we can practice some kind of form of self-compassion, it literally just gets just radiates out. And I'm talking like in your own personal sphere, but also globally. So whatever form that practice takes. Sorry, I'm choking on this. I think it's sort of going off on this sage, which I love sage. Choking, sorry. I'm probably talking too much. Right. Anyway, the importance of, the driving force, the love that makes the world go round. It's love that turns the wheel. So let's look at the currents in our lives currently. Beautiful air signs, Geminis. The currents seem to be, we have the Two of Swords coming out. The Two of Swords, it's an intuitive, it's a card that relies on its intuition. I feel this is more of a creative sort of reading than normal. I feel at the moment that where you are in your watery well, in your font of emotion, where we are as a Gemini myself, we're really looking at trusting our intuitive ability to make decisions at this time. A lot of air signs, we are kind of in our head a lot. But at this current juncture, I think, there's like there's a real sort of wanting to make some decisions based on intuitive feeling. And in the traditional card too, and in fact in this one, I don't think you can see it because it's right up the top. There's a new moon. And I just think maybe this new moon in Capricorn is a kind of point of interest. I'm not an astrologer. You know, I don't exactly know that, but I feel that it is I feel between the full moon in Cancer, as I said before, and the new moon in Capricorn, I feel this is a really important time to get ourselves, if this makes sense, grounded in our own waters, in our own sort of emotional in our own emotional waters, really, isn't it? That's what it's all about. So we have the card, the Two of Swords, a card of decision making, but a card of basing those decisions not on what you see, but on what you're feeling. Yeah, which is really great. I think it's amazing. The basis of this, let's see, one card for beautiful Geminis, please, today. One card for beautiful Geminis. Seem to be having heaps flying out, and too many. One card for beautiful Geminis after this Two. After the Two of Swords. Just to see what's happening in the heart-based world of the beautiful air signs at the moment. Just one card, please. Oh, I'm a bit stubborn today. Gems. So we're looking at our intuitive. Oh, this card keeps coming out too. We're really kind of fixated on our trying to figure out our intuitive. I think this card came out in the Gemini January reading. We get the basis of this, right? Making decisions based on our. Oh, there we are. There's a Gemini Queen of Swords. What was I saying? Decisions based on our intuitive self, the basis or the history behind this or the reasons for this. We get the Seven of Discs again. I do believe it was in the Gemini reading. Because really, the basis of this is really, maybe we've been a little bit, I think maybe we've been a bit hard on ourselves in terms of seeing what has come to fruition in our lives. And we're talking like emotionally here, even though that's an earthy card, the Seven of Discs. But we're really focusing on, you know, the emotional landscape. And it seems like we want to we just want to get into more of a, I just feel like more of a free flow here with not being able to go with that emotional landscape, I guess, instead of overriding it somehow. That's just what I get. So as we move forward, it's interesting. I mean, change is a wonderful thing as we move forward, change or just sort of changing our way of doing what we do or our attitude towards our emotional self, because the emotions can be, can sweep you away, but they can be very, very helpful in terms of gauging where you're at, so, and where you want to go. So let's just see, moving forward, let's say, we'll just wait for something to jump, and then we'll get a few cards for your heart guidance, my dear friends. Wow, this has come out today. We do find doing clusters of readings, and yet shuffling and clearing and stuff all the way through, we do get some similar cards coming out. But so moving forward, we are going into a new zone. I know it's the beginning of a new year, but we're going into this new zone of being able to trust our emotional rhythms, to be able to trust the feelings. We're going into a new phase. We're going into a new path. We're going down a new pathway of which we don't necessarily see all that may well be there for us yet. And I just, I think Taurus had the moon card as well. So of course the moon illuminates, and it also obscures, and it is to do with the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. So we're venturing into new territory, Geminis, I feel. Feeling a little bit easier in terms of being able to trust our, because possibly there's a little bit of time where things are, the cyclical nature of the moon and its pull on tide is huge. So, it's interesting. But we are on a journey, and we're walking between two towers. We've got Anubis on either sides of the gate. The moon is a mysterious card, but we know the cycle and the nature of it, that things are illuminated at some point. So it's interesting. It's a little bit tricky-dicky, isn't it? But maybe we're learning to trust our emotions a little bit more here, gems. So some guidance from the heart and for the heart, as all roads do lead to Rome and from Rome. Let's see, just one card please for Geminis. Well, oops. I really do, excuse me, seem to be getting a few too many here. So I'm going to keep shuffling. Be patient, gems. Just one card for this sort of epiphany of sorts in terms of where we're going. Yeah. Or what's happening in our currents. Guidance here is interesting. We get the Four of Discs. It's a structure, and it's really solid. It's really solid. If we looked at this card from the angle of water and emotion, there's a strength in it, but there's potential. If you think of the traditional Four of Discs, which is a figure holding the four discs over the various parts of his body, and holding, he doesn't want to let go, covering the chest and the belly, the third eye, the holding on to it, guidance here. There is one opening and one opening only in this card, in the Thoth deck and Lady Frida Harris deck, and it's here. So it's not a hermetically sealed structure. The nature of emotion, the nature of water, is that it moves and it's either contained. If it's not, it will kind of magnetically try and join up with itself, if you know what I mean. If you dropped the old school thermometer on the floor, some people wouldn't remember these, and the mercury falls out of it, which is appropriate. But the mercury will almost magnetically come back together again in a ball. It's amazing. And water's like that, and actually the heart is like that, because it's, you know, the self that's generating magnetic pumping chamber of gorgeousness, you know. So the guidance here is, what is it? That there's always an opening, there's always a free flow in some area. And sometimes we can't just hold on, you know, hold on and not just let the free flow happen. This is what I'm getting from this. It's quite push pull, which I'm not totally, push pull gems. Anyway, we'll get a card from the journey map for some guidance, and then from my little star cards, which are just wee words of guidance as well. So we'll just give these a really good shuffle, and we'll get one card for the beautiful Geminis. Oh, pardon me. Well, we're getting a lot of cards coming out today. Where are we? Where are we? Too many. Whoops. It's nice to be back at the window, actually. Now, man, this keeps, there we go. So, guidance here for the beautiful Geminis, with the general guidance of the heart. Well, here we get the CIA, number 40, number 4. We get the CIA, which is the Central Intelligence Agency, which is the heart. It would seem that guidance is really to go with heart in all things, in all emotional endeavors. And my thing is always, you know, we can't offer others anything unless we can give ourselves compassion and forgiveness. This is just the nature. And so let's just get one more card. Beautiful Geminis. Just one card of guidance here. See what pops out. going to rain here. Just one card, please, for the beautiful Gemini. Oh, wow. So we are learning something new, it seems. We're learning something new. We get a card of mastery, process information without fear. Can you separate what is yours from another? So this card popped out, and it's beautiful because, you know, it's like we're just learning to there's a boundary line here is just what I'm getting. There's like a boundary between being able to operate in an emotional sense in two worlds at once. By that I mean in this outside, you know, dealing with difficult situations, conflict, everything that's all a part of life, but also having this sort of softer, more delicate ability to sort of feel people out as well, being able to connect the two as opposed to sort of holding on to one or existing in one and not in another, ignoring the other, that conjoining those two. And it would appear to me in this reading, beautiful gems, that coming back to center point is the way to your mastery, my friends. I hope this reading finds you well, and hopefully you can join me for the time and tides around the 13th, 12th, 13th of January, time and tides. So thank you so much for joining me today, and I look forward to seeing you again, and have a fantastic, a really, really good week. Thank you, Gems. Cheerio. Toodaloo.